Welcome to the No Sugarcoating Podcast. I am Amber Romaniuk, emotional eating, digestive, and hormone expert. I am also the founder of amberapproved.ca. I support professional women achieve optimal health through mindful eating, self-care, and overcoming self-sabotage with food. This podcast provides the honest truth on what you really need to create body freedom. The No Sugarcoating Podcast provides information on healthy living, lifestyle changes, nutrition, and diet, and is intended for informational purposes only. Always seek the advice of your healthcare practitioner regarding your health and nutrition program. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 209 of the No Sugarcoating Podcast. What I would actually love to do before we get into today's show, being that we are in the week of Remembrance Day. Remembrance Day is November 11th, of course. I actually wanted to just take a moment of silence to pay respect to everybody who gave their lives and fought for our freedom. And I think it's so important that we remember this and take a moment. So I just want everyone to take a moment to send some love and compassion for those who fought for our freedom. Thank you for doing that. So this week on the podcast, I am talking about how emotional eating impacts liver health, signs your liver may be stressed, and ways to create a healthier liver. I'm really excited about today's episode. I personally can resonate to this so much because through binge eating and emotional eating, I created so much imbalance with my liver that I've now corrected, but it definitely took time, focus, effort to get to the point where I could create that. So I thought it would be really good to talk to you about it today, just because of the way that it can impact some of the symptoms you could potentially be having. So the show notes for today's episode can be found at amberapproved.ca /podcast/209. Make sure you subscribe to the No Sugarcoating Podcast on your favorite podcast app. You can click the link as well in the show notes to subscribe. So yeah, anyone that you like, be sure to subscribe to. So next, I definitely know, the holiday season is coming. Do you love this time of year? I know I do. It is a great time to connect with family and friends. And it's also a time that you may need a little bit more supportive self-care to get through the holiday season, honoring yourself. Perhaps you're someone who does struggle with the holidays due to a family loss, a relationship breakup, or perhaps you have a perfectionist mindset with food, or you're struggling with emotional eating, and therefore you really fear or worry about this time of year because there's so much temptation and you find yourself losing control with food. So it can be very vulnerable. And I know for me, I used to be deep in my food addiction. I loved Christmas, but I hated the loss of control with food and the weight gain that would happen for me. So the holidays should be a time of enjoyment. And because I want to support you in that, I want to share, of course, that I am declaring this the season of self-love and gratitude between the Canadian and American Thanksgivings. So if you are wanting to have support with the holiday season, navigating food through the holiday season, emotional eating, not having to invest in some big diet that isn't going to work in the new year, then I definitely encourage you to reach out if you're ready to invest in your health and book your 30-minute complimentary body freedom call so that we can talk about where you're struggling, what your goals are with your relationship with food, your digestion, your hormones, your energy levels, making yourself a priority. And as you know, I'm having a wonderful coaching sale in my 6-month and 1-year coaching programs. So you can do the holidays differently. You can overcome emotional eating. You can have a newfound respect for food and have a balance with your schedule and with not adding too many holiday commitments onto your plate. That sounds like a great gift. So if you are interested, email me at info@amberapproved.ca with the subject line fall coaching sale to book your 30-minute body freedom call and to save again on those 6-month and 1-year coaching programs. I'm definitely looking forward to connecting with you. And if you're wondering if you're struggling with emotional eating, definitely go to amberapproved.ca and take the emotional eating quiz. I'll also have that linked through in the show notes, and you can listen at the end of the episode for the rest of the announcements and show notes for today. So of course, welcome to all of you. If you are finding a specific eating style isn't working for you, you're struggling with emotional eating, food addiction, digestive issues, liver imbalances, inflammation, you suspect your hormones are off, self-care continues to be a struggle, you are at the bottom of your priority list, you're fighting with your weight, and you just can't seem to get ahead, and it's just overwhelming to even think about where to start. Well, my friends, you are in the right place, because I will continue to dive into the habits and mindsets to set you on a different path. Amber Approved offers private coaching for hormonal imbalances, weight loss and digestive issues, emotional eating, and more. Contact Amber at amberapproved.ca to book your 30-minute complimentary consultation today. So first of all, I want to talk a little bit about how emotional eating can impact your liver, because I know one thing that happens when we are struggling with something like emotional eating, food addiction, binge eating is you often don't think about or realize the negative implications or the costs of how the act of binging or emotional eating and then restriction can impact your physical state of health, can impact your digestion, your digestive organs, and specifically liver. And so I want to share with you some of the experience that I've had and I had through binging and restriction and this whole concept of the way it impacted me and my liver. So first of all, binge eating, emotional eating, eating a lot of refined foods, salt, fat, and these are, again, refined fats, sugar, is very hard on the liver, because over time, as you binge and then you restrict, fat accumulates, weight gain can happen. And that can contribute to inflammation, and that can potentially, and this is potential, I'm not saying it's happening to you or it's going to happen, but it can potentially, produce that inflammation, scarring in the liver can potentially happen. And so for some people, this may be called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So essentially what is happening here is through the binge eating, there's just such a high volume of food coming into the body. And again, it's refined and it stresses out the body. The body has a stress response. You produce inflammation. The more inflamed you are, the more heightened state of stress just your overall body is in. And if you think about it, your liver is responsible for detoxifying everything that goes through your blood and your body. And if it's responsible for all of that, and then all of a sudden there is excess sugar in the blood, you're eating, again, excess high amounts of really processed refined fats and other foods. It has this massive stress on the liver, because your liver is going, I'm already having to detox and get through all this other stuff. And now I have to deal with detoxifying and trying to process all of, this food through the digestive system. And it really adds up fast. So when we're eating processed foods, and then we go to the other end, which is that restriction, fasting, again, whatever it is for you is, restricting the calories or making up for the fact that you have binged or overeaten. I find, again, what ends up happening is, you go from this binging, which is over burdening your body and your liver. And then you go to the other side, which is the restriction, which often can put the body into a detox. And I find even with some of my clients, they say things to me like, wow, I binged and then I went the other way to the restriction side, and all of a sudden I got nauseous, I felt sick, I felt really tired, my stools changed, all these symptoms can happen, and that could potentially be some of the liver stress that is happening. But what was so interesting for me was, I know when I was in the midst of my binge eating, I got some liver tests done and my liver enzymes, and they were high, and my doctor's like, oh, you have fatty liver, and there's not a lot you can do about it. And I was like, at the time I didn't really care, I didn't really think about it, because I was like, oh, whatever, doesn't sound like it's a big deal. If my doctor doesn't think it's a big deal, no problem. But what was actually happening for me is my bowel health was declining. So I was getting more and more constipated, and I was actually not able to have bowel movements on my own anymore. And part of that was my thyroid, part of that was inflammation, but part of it was also this fatty liver. And it also just felt like I wasn't producing the proper amounts of bile to help move the stools through. So TMI, but I think it's so important to talk about this because people don't realize how binge eating can impact your liver. And then, of course, that can impact your insulin, your blood sugar, your blood pressure, increase, risk down the road for diabetes and all sorts of other things that we don't even want to think about manifesting or creating within us. But yeah, for me, one of the biggest things that I saw was this constipation, and I got more headaches. I felt more fatigue, and I was just kind of like, I have no idea really why this is happening. And then once I started to realize that potentially it could be because of the emotional eating, it was very difficult to have that be a motivator to help me stop emotional eating, because you get into this pattern or this habit where it feels so hard to stop emotionally eating. It feels so hard to stop that vicious cycle. And while you care about your body, it almost seems like the food is more important, and I'll just deal with the physical symptoms until you get to this point where there's like huge consequences or huge suffering. And then like maybe something should change. So it's just very interesting how I observed this. And like finally, after years and years and years of working on my liver and working on my lymphatics and my digestive system, I was able to get to the point where I got up to the point where I had to take 12 magnesium a day to have a bowel movement the next day. And luckily now I don't have to take any magnesium and everything's back to normal, and my fatty liver's gone and my enzymes have regulated. But it took time to get to that point. And obviously stopping the binge eating was an important part of that, and focusing on hormone and digestive balance and stress management and eating really nourishing foods. And of course, today I'll talk a little bit about ways you can help your own liver out. But it just, now that I look back, like I had no idea how deeply I was impacting my body, impacting things like the liver, which are, again, so important for so many different functions. The No Sugarcoating podcast is proud to partner with Herbaland. Herbaland products are sugar-free, gluten-free, vegan, and made with love in Richmond, British Columbia. All of their vitamins and supplements come in gummy form, making them easy and fun to take. Their products are made for everyone to enjoy. Whether you are struggling with capsule fatigue, have trouble swallowing large capsules, or you simply love your vitamins tasting like delicious watermelon, Herbaland is for you. And a fun fact is that Herbaland is also the #1 gummy manufacturer in Canada. Be sure to check out more information and try your gummies at www.herbaland.ca. And so I want to dive into the signs that your liver may be stressed, and then into the tips, because I have some really, really great information to share today. And I want to have you feeling empowered with that information and hopefully taking some action steps. And of course, if you're curious, if you're struggling with symptoms, if you're curious about the state of your liver health, definitely, talk to your doctor, talk to your healthcare practitioner, your naturopath, your integrative medicine doctor. You can reach out and we can talk a little bit about it. I think there's many simple and effective ways to support your liver and to deal with any stuff that may be going on if you are experiencing some of these symptoms. If you already have an existing liver condition, you definitely want to make sure that you are being regularly supported and that you are, of course, doing the testing and being in proper protocol to make sure things are taken care of. So keep that in mind. So signs your liver may be stressed. So the dark circles under the eyes. You may bruise easily. Here's the one that I really was struggling with: the sluggish bowels or constipation. That was huge for me for quite a long time. Fatigue, headaches, not breaking down fat properly, discomfort or pain in the upper right abdomen. This is another symptom I had when I was doing too much detox in the spring. I've been doing a lot of work on my lymphatic system and my liver and my gallbladder. And I increased my celery juice intake from 1 cup to 2 cups and was just doing some sauna, infrared sauna, rebounding, hot and cold showers, dry skin brushing. And what I realized is my body doesn't want me to do all of those every day. That was too much. And then it put me over the edge and I became nauseous. I had a bitter taste in my mouth and I was having quite a bit of upper abdominal pain on my right side. And so I immediately, of course, got an ultrasound and went to my doctor and everything looked fine. And I found out it was some bile sludge and I was just pushing my body too hard. And I didn't do it on purpose. I just was really excited and eager to get this stuff sorted out. But you also have to listen to your body. So if you're detoxing, you start to get these symptoms really quickly. To me, that is so a sign that you need to slow down with your detox and take it one step at a time, and perhaps not do so many things to support that. And also don't do extreme detox or cleansing, like just drinking vegetable juice. I think it's important that we do it slowly and mindfully, because otherwise you end up with too many detox symptoms, and that can really have a negative impact on just how you go about your day. So itchy skin, eczema, psoriasis, these can all be signs of that your liver is just overburdened with toxins and it's not able to fully clean everything out. I've really witnessed people, especially with things like eczema, see that significantly reduce when we balance the gut flora, get the inflammation out, and make sure the liver is functioning properly, having daily bowel movements, retention in your, water retention in your ankles and wrists, loss of appetite. Again, I definitely noticed that when I was going through my over detox. So some of this may seem generic, and it's because everyone's different. Everyone may have different symptoms. You may have symptoms that are overlapping from hormones and other imbalances, but it's just interesting to look at this and see if you are struggling with any of that. Another one is if you do say try green juice or any kind of liver support, if you immediately feel sick afterward, you're tired, you get tired, you get a headache quite quickly, this could be a sign that, again, that your body just needs like a very small amount of support rather than adding more in, because that could be a sign of just too much detox. I definitely know for me, the first time I tried just even a celery or a cucumber juice about 9 years ago, I got a headache like 10 minutes later. So that just went to show you how overburdened my liver was at the time from all the stress I had put my liver through with the binge eating. Another sign of liver imbalance to me from an emotional standpoint is anger. So the liver is where we store anger. And if you just suppress your anger and you keep pushing it down, I really believe that can have a negative impact on your liver health. And I often observe with my clients as they start just doing very gentle liver support, they say to me, I felt a bit more irritable lately. And the odd person says, I've been angry. And I said, well, you're probably releasing anger and stuff that's been stored in there for who knows how long. And that's a good thing. But again, it's if you're feeling too many symptoms or it seems like it's too much to slow down. I can't urge that enough. It's important to just go slowly and gently to support things like your liver. Elevated liver enzymes, of course, can be a sign of fatty liver, which is in alignment with some of the symptoms I've just talked about, and that's a sign of liver imbalance as well. So you definitely want to make sure that you do get support to address things like that, because as I've observed, these symptoms and some of these imbalances can definitely be taken care of, and you can have relief from them, because I no longer experience any of those symptoms that I was potentially experiencing from the liver imbalance, especially the constipation. Like, that was huge for me to overcome that, because it was so long that was out of balance. The No Sugarcoating podcast is proud to partner with Lowen's Natural Skincare. Conceived by a pharmacist for his infant daughter and company namesake, the Lowen's story began with a single, simple, yet extremely effective diaper balm created to treat a persistent rash. Established in 2010, Lowen's crafts safe, effective, evidence-based natural skincare products utilizing organic, locally sourced, fair trade, and fresh ingredients. Lowen's is PETA certified cruelty-free, and all products have been thoroughly evaluated by the Environmental Working Group, most of which carry the EWG verified logo, establishing Lowen's as an industry leader in transparency, environmental impact, and safety. Lowen's Natural Skincare. Pharmacist formulated, family owned, safe, effective, better. You can learn more and shop online at www.lowens.ca. Let's get into ways to support your liver, because I, again, have some really, really good stuff to go over with you today. So some really simple stuff: lemon in your water, fresh lemon, squeeze into your water, warmer, room temperature ideally, to aid in good digestion. But liver is great for gently detoxifying the liver and waking up your digestive system slowly. Any different green foods are good for the liver. So green is good because it's rich in chlorophyll, and chlorophyll is like a scrub brush that scrubs through your liver. So that's why I love like your lettuces, your greens, your broccoli, your beets, carrots, avocados, bitter foods like bitter melon or dandelion greens. Great to support the liver. I love getting as much as we can from food. And that's where I love, just mixing things like that into your daily meals or snacks. Regular hydration is important. Water helps us detoxify and flush toxins out of the body. So for people who are dehydrated and they're constipated and not moving their bowels, like there is a significant lack of detoxification happening for you, which does have a negative impact on different symptoms and your overall state of health. We need to be eliminating daily, through our bowels, through our urine, and making sure that you're well hydrated. Green juice. So I love just celery or just cucumber. I don't suggest just drinking juice and going on a juice fast. I suggest, in addition to your meals and snacks that you're having through the day, add in a celery juice. Like I wake up and I have my celery juice before I have my breakfast. And then if I feel like I need a pick-me-up in the evening, sometimes I'll juice a cucumber and some ginger. It makes me feel really good. I feel this little pick-me-up of energy. I feel super clean, and my liver is happy. Like she's saying, thank you for giving me this. I absolutely love this. And it of course helps with immunity. It helps prevent colds and flus. And if you start to feel run down, I often find adding in some juice can be really good for just kicking that cold or flu to the curb. I think it's also really important that we work on reducing our refined food intake. So deep fried foods, fast foods, sugar, alcohol, wheat, dairy, things that are going to, produce more inflammation, throw the blood sugar off, things that again are difficult for the digestive system to break down and process, and that, we have to expend a lot of energy for that. And to bring it more to mindful indulgence where, yes, okay, it's not about you can't ever have them, but it's about more that it's a mindful balance of some here and there. And otherwise you're really nourishing your body with really, really great whole foods. And that's where I think it's so important to deal with emotional eating, binge eating, food addiction if you are struggling with any form of emotional eating, because it does have a negative impact on your liver and your digestive system as a whole. Just the stress again that you're putting on your body from binging and restriction, both. So again, reach out, take advantage of the coaching sale if you are wanting to, gain freedom from emotional eating, because it's something that I support my clients with every day. In fact, I had a new client just start with me a week and a half ago, and we started working on her triggers. And this is something she struggled with for 50 years. And we had a follow-up call today, her first follow-up call. And she said, I haven't emotionally ate for the last 2 weeks. And this is only after us talking for the last 3 weeks. And we've had 2 sessions. And she's like, I didn't take and give in to any of the Halloween candy. I'm using my tools and the coaching support. And she's already seen a huge shift. So that just goes to show you how fast it can happen for some people. So definitely make sure that you reach out and get support to overcome the emotional eating. The No Sugarcoating podcast is proud to partner with Newco Natural Technology. Newco Natural Technology is a Canadian company located in the heart of Calgary, Alberta. Newco creates the finest and most effective natural health products in the industry through scientific innovation and understanding of nature's codes. Newco has discovered the miracle molecule sulforaphane, which is a super antioxidant extracted from broccoli that provides long-lasting protection for 72 hours after consumption or application. This miracle molecule is supported by over 1,800 clinical studies over the last 25 years. Newco's products range from supplements, skincare, to even chocolate bars, which use sulforaphane as its foundation, and I can tell you, the chocolate is delicious. The Brocogen 10 supplement contains sulforaphane, and 1 capsule is equivalent to eating 5 heads of broccoli. To learn more, visit newconatural.ca and use code AMBER to save 15% off your entire order. Remember, that's NEWCO natural.ca with the code AMBER for 15% off. As I've mentioned, I don't recommend just doing intense cleansing like just juice fasting or water fasting. To me, these things seem like they are too extreme, especially for people who are struggling with any form of food addiction or emotional eating. It can give you really fast, really intense, dangerous detox symptoms, which could make you feel really sick and debilitated. And I know for me, when I by accidentally just over detoxed a little bit too much around the beginning of June, I felt really nauseous. I had a bitter taste in the back of my mouth. It was hard to eat. I was having that pain again. And I had to really pull back on my fat intake just because my gallbladder and liver couldn't handle it at that point. And obviously, after I removed the toxic load and pulled back to what was a more mindful level of detox to support my unique body, my symptoms went away quite quickly. And I've actually been able to stay at that pace since and seen some really positive results just with better energy. Tension, headaches are gone. My lymphatic system is functioning really well. My bowels are so happy. Even just like some lingering inflammation is gone now. So some really, really, really great things have happened by being mindful rather than going on a big, intense detox where you have really intense symptoms. I just don't suggest doing that. It's almost like really, I don't know if violence is the right word, but it's just really intense on the body and it's not fun to feel those symptoms. Another thing that is really important for a healthy liver are antioxidants. So I'm going to talk to you more about this antioxidant, but I want to talk a little bit more about Newco Natural because I absolutely love what they stand for. They're an honest, credible, very knowledgeable company, and they're, really having a very positive impact on, the customers who are purchasing their products. And even I and my boyfriend have been using them, and I've already noticed that I feel a reduction in retention and inflammation. He's had eczema around his eyes, my boyfriend, since January pretty much, and we've been using the ointment and the Brocogen capsules, which I'll talk a bit about, and he's noticed a reduction already from that, and he's been trying so many other natural things, but he's noticed that this is helping. And I've been adding it to a couple of little, I have a little skin tag on my arm, and I've been adding it to that, and I've already noticed that it's actually gotten smaller in just over a week. And I've actually, because I sometimes get a bit of breast tenderness before my cycle, so I've actually been using the ointment, and I haven't had the breast tenderness yet, and usually around this time it starts to show up. So with an accumulation of all the other stuff I'm doing for my lymphatic support, I do think that this is also helping to reduce that inflammation further. So those are just some of the experiences that we've had in the last couple of weeks of using this and absolutely loving it. So I wanted to share with you guys about it today because I do think with certain things, like if I love them and try them, I want to share them with you because if it's going to help you, then that's great. So Newco has been in business for 24 years in the natural health product industry. Of course, they're so passionate and driven by innovation to create the finest, most effective products in the market worldwide. And I swear to you, this is legit. If you talk to the owner, he is so passionate about this and he has so many fascinating testimonials and stories to share about what the products have done, again, for the people who purchase them. So for them, in their search for science and full understanding of the truth and nature's codes, they can tell you that they have found the perfect king molecule to create a line of products, which is at the epicenter. Sulforaphane from broccoli. This is this antioxidant that is so powerful. And they have 3 divisions of products. So the Broco Choco bars that are made by a master chocolatier here in Calgary. So good, delicious, not too sweet. And they use, again, nice dark chocolate. I absolutely love that. Is just a nice little nourishing, mindful snack. 1 bar has the equivalent of 2 to 4 pounds of 3-day new sprouts. Okay, that's a lot. That is a big serving of sulforaphane from broccoli. And then they also have the Broco Fusion Sulforaphane topical skincare line, which resonates with the skin in such a way that you cannot stop using the product, which is so true because, like I said, my boyfriend's been using it on his eczema. I've been using it for various reasons that I've just mentioned. And I honestly think I'll probably just keep using it forever because of the quick results that I've seen from it. The lotion, the Broco Fusion lotion and ointment have been proven to reduce the appearance of age spots. This is a big one that put their company and their products on the map across Canada. And their last supplement, the Brocogen 10, which we are also both taking, I've noticed in the last 2 weeks, I had just a little bit of the dark circles under my eyes completely gone after a few days. Super powerful. So each capsule for the Brocogen 10 is the equivalent of eating 1.25 pounds of 3-day-old sprouts. So that's pretty powerful to me. It just, again, goes to show you how powerful coming from nature can be for the body. And the science community from universities all over the world has published more than 1,800 clinical studies to date since 1992 on sulforaphane. So why is there so much, attention around this? I want to share a little bit more specifically about the sulforaphane because it is a super antioxidant food molecule and it's classified as an indirect antioxidant because it stimulates a pathway in the body to unleash NRF2 protective protein activation. This is very unique. Not all fruit or vegetables can activate this in the human body like this specifically can. And it provides specifically for every single cell in the body, continuous and long-lasting antioxidant protection for 72 hours after application or consumption of any of the Brocogen products that contain the sulforaphane. So there's actually a study that I'm just going to talk a little bit about. If you want to read the entire study, I am going to link it in the show notes, so you will totally be able to go there and read it all. But I just want to touch briefly on this because, again, I just think it's so interesting, and I love studies because it really just goes to show you the credibility behind this and that it is the real deal. So the study talks about sulforaphane-rich broccoli sprout and how it can improve hepatic abnormalities in the male subjects it was tested on. Even only 30 milligrams of sulforaphane per day can help to improve liver function. So obesity, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which I talked about, which I was struggling with when I was binge eating. Of course, it can help with alcoholic fatty liver, hepatitis, cirrhosis. So again, this powerful antioxidant, there's many ways that it may really impact or make your liver happier. And so the sulforaphane-rich broccoli sprout, which is, again, from broccoli, so you can keep eating all your broccoli, and you can add this in just again for that extra support. But the researchers at a Tokyo university hospital found that in a 2-month period, dietary supplementation with broccoli sprout extract containing the sulforaphane precursor helps to improve liver function through reduction of oxidative stress. And there is so much of that happens every day in our environment, our food we're eating, stress, what we're putting in our bodies. There's so much oxidative stress. So I think there's so much to be said for, having something like this to help the liver. So again, if you want to read that whole study, I'll link it through the show notes. So if you're interested in checking out a little bit more about these wonderful products from Newco, again, they have the Brocogen 10, which are the capsules. They have the sulforaphane glucosinolate in them, and they have different sizes, so you can check that out. I'll link that up in the show notes. Sulforaphane functions very differently than the traditional antioxidants like vitamin A, C, and E. A, C, and E neutralize one free radical at a time and then are used up, whereas the sulforaphane stimulates the body to release continuous long-lasting chain of antioxidant reactions up to 72 hours, as I mentioned earlier. That's super powerful, and that's one of the reasons why I love this. And so definitely, whether you want to take a capsule, you want to try the chocolate. If you want to, again, use it on your skin topically, you can get the lotion and the ointment as well. And just so you are aware, if you're wondering, is there any preservatives or anything in the capsules, so they contain no artificial colors, sweeteners, soy, yeast, wheat, gluten, corn, milk, egg, shellfish, or preservatives. And again, you can find the sulforaphane in the topical lotions, ointments, and the chocolate bars as well. So if you're interested to try this out on any level, again, you can go to newconatural.ca and use the code AMBER to save 15% off your entire order. So that's NEWCO natural.ca with the code AMBER for 15% off. I'm really impressed. I'll probably actually keep you guys up to date on the progress that I'm continuing to experience by using the different products from them. And it's so interesting because I actually first stumbled upon them because of their essential oils, which I absolutely love because they do also do essential oils. And it was that then introduced me to talking to the owner and his son, who are obviously a huge part of this company, and learning more about, I think, these products, which can be and have sounded life-changing for so many people. So you definitely have to check out their website, read some of the testimonials there, because I even know in the handout that they gave me, just some of the pictures and the befores and afters are very profound. So make sure that you check that out. I think on another end, another aspect that is important to address with liver is, of course, your alcohol consumption. And if you are struggling with any form of liver imbalance, liver symptoms, it's important, I think, to limit or stop alcohol consumption for a while to really help that liver. If you are struggling with using alcohol to suppress emotions, just like emotional eating, then I think it's important to get help with that. And I also think it's important to work emotionally when it comes to things like the liver. As I said, we often tend to store a lot of our anger in the liver. So if you find that you suppress your emotions, you emotionally eat and shove your emotions down, or you're often feeling a lot of anger, frustration, irritation, things like that, it's important to start to use different kinds of self-care to help you to understand, where's this emotion coming from? What's made me feel this way? What are different ways that I can release it? Is it journaling, deep breathing, meditation, EFT tapping? Is it getting out for a walk, going into nature? Is it getting some other modality done like energy work, body talk, therapy, talking to somebody. I know I definitely help my clients with their emotions all the time because that's one of the reasons why they come to me struggling with emotional eating. So that's why it's important to bring in different kinds of self-care and other modalities that can help us with these emotions to also help clear the liver out. I think from this energetic, emotional standpoint, I really believe in that. And I've seen profound changes through doing my own inner work emotionally, spiritually, energetically, and also through observing my clients, again, bring in more self-care to help them deal with their emotions. So that piece is also important. And last but not least, taking time out of your schedule to build that self-care routine to manage your stress is really important. Because if we're not taking time to manage our stressors and we're not taking that time to get enough sleep, hydrate, nourish our bodies well, and have fun, and we're continuing to store all those emotions and shove them down, especially through things like emotional eating, often it will have a negative impact on our physical symptoms and the organs in our body and our mood, our hormones, our digestion, etc., as I've already talked about through this episode today. So I just think it's so important that we address the emotional, mental side. We address, where we're storing those emotions. And of course, we address the physical side as well. So that's where I love bringing this all together with dealing with the emotional eating, supporting your liver, using things like the antioxidant sulforaphane in the Brocogen products from Newco, if that resonates for you, bringing in self-care, scheduling time for yourself and bringing some balance into your schedule, expressing your emotions. I think all of this helps to support your liver in a happy way. So some things to think about. Again, if you have any questions about anything, you're more than welcome to email me at info@amberapproved.ca. Really, really excited to be partnering again with Newco Naturals because I really think that they have something really special here that is having a positive impact. So you'll have to check them out again. The information on their products, it will be in the show notes. So you'll be able to click right through. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. The show notes can be found at amberapproved.ca/podcast/209. Again, if you have questions, feedback, ideas for the podcast, email me at info@amberapproved.ca. Definitely be sure to subscribe to the podcast, rate it, and review it if you are enjoying it. And as I always say, there's no better time than the present to take action on your health, so make sure you take action now. If you're having certain symptoms, please do not ignore them. Get some support to further investigate what is going on so that you can support them and ideally be free of them or reduce them so you can live a better quality of life. Have a beautiful day, a great week, and I will look forward to sharing a whole new podcast episode with you next Sunday. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe, review, and rate this podcast and share it with your friends. You can find me at amberapproved.ca and follow me on Instagram and YouTube at amberromaniak. Join me next Sunday for another brand new episode and another step toward body freedom.